Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation, and our Paws On Manga segment.
And today we're covering the manga Gachiakuta. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes, this manga was actually a series we'd never heard of before, but after our librarian recommended this to us, we decided to check it out, and we're glad we did. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, location with future podcasts, and one of Pa's videos.
Yes, and thank you for subscribing to us today, sharing our video, commenting, recommending us videos, mangas, and anime, everything you do, we appreciate it. So this is something, as we mentioned, we had no knowledge of and didn't expect to cover. So what we're going to do is do a first look with the manga, talk a little about the trailer that came out for the anime, and then if we end up watching the anime itself and or completing the manga, then we'll cover each of those on Paws itself.
Yes.
So this is just like a heads up and letting you know about something we found interesting.
Right.
So if you're like us and not familiar with Gachiakuta, it's a manga series written and illustrated by Kei Urana, and it actually was serialized in Kodansha like a lot are back in February of 2022. And it's action, dark fantasy, and dystopian.
Okay.
And when you see the trailer, you'll absolutely know that it's dystopian.
Yeah, I haven't heard one of those in a while. And again, we didn't even know this manga existed. We didn't even hear about an anime announcement when we were looking at the upcoming series and stuff for spring of this year. It's just all of a sudden, it's like, where did this show come from?
Yeah. And it was so odd because the day before the trailer released, and I got an email about it from Crunchyroll, that's when we got the book from the librarian.
Yeah.
So it was like no coincidences.
Right.
And then we weren't sure if we were going to read it or not. And when we looked through it, we weren't sure. So I read it first and I'm like, yeah, we got to give this a try.
Okay.
So the manga itself has 14 volumes and is still currently running.
Yeah, it's got a lot already.
And the exciting part is the anime itself is being done by Studio Bones.
So, you know, look very high quality.
So we're really excited for that, and it's not releasing until July. So first, let's talk about the manga, and then the trailer that was released.
Yes.
So the plot itself revolves around an MC named Rudo, who's a young boy. We don't know how old he is. It's not told in the manga.
Right.
This
We're just
time.
going to assume teenager.
And he lives in the slums of wealthy society among the tribesfolk population descended from criminals exiled by society. So this sounds kind of like it was inspired by different things in real life, where you have islands and things here that used to be where criminals were sent to. It also seems to be inspired to me by Owen Colfer's War.
Yes. Yes, definitely. And it's exactly how you think it plays out. You got the one side that's the very wealthy and they're extreme when it comes to cleanliness. And for them, anything that is any type of dent or scratch or even a speck of dirt on something, if it's not in its new condition like you usually see it, they immediately throw it away. Literally to the extreme. And the same goes for people as well. They use a lot of the term unclean. And it's a very heavy subject within the story because they have made the entire city like this where it's divided and anyone calm one side or the other gets immediately taken out.
Yeah. I said war, guys, but I meant warped.
Oh,
so
warped.
if you know Owen Colfer, then you know what I meant.
Right.
And he has someone who's been acting as his father named Recto. And you know before you even finish reading it, something's going to happen to him. It happens in all of the manga, like Erased and many others. You end up having that parental figure taken out. Really quick. Yeah. So in here he's taken out. But originally Recto adopted him. And he's called a spherite.
Yeah.
And the spherite is what the people who have been thrown below into the abyss, so to speak, call the people who live above them.
Yeah.
Now that's going to be clarified a little more, I'm sure, in more volumes.
Yes.
But from the way that we see it from the MC's point of view, they're thrown down. But they told them, no, we're not down.
Yeah.
And we're like, huh?
Yeah, that was, I guess, the sort of plot twist in here.
Right.
They have a place called the Pit, not to be confused with the one from regular show with the trash pit.
Right.
It really has, I guess for them, people that were lower than the tribesfolk, and there they send criminals down there, I guess, to just perish. But a lot of them survive, but they live literally in the trash. It's like Wall-E turned up to 11, and like you said, turned dystopian, because it does get pretty heavy quickly after a couple chapters.
So what happens for Rudy is he begins to get the garbage out, and he fixes it or repurposes it, and he gives it to people. And so the government finds out, and then they decide to set him up, and unfortunately set him up by taking out Recto, his dad. So he's accused of murdering him. They set him up to look like he does, and so he spread eagle, and they tell him that they're gonna throw him in and they're gonna kill him. And then of course when he falls in, you find out there's lots of people living there. They're not dead.
Yes.
But at this point, it doesn't look like there's a way back up. But then he meets someone called Engine, who's a leader of the cleaners that live, from what we think, below ground.
Right.
Or he lives with the trash beasts. They're trash beasts that look like characters from the Promised Neverland.
Yes.
And Engine is the leader of the cleaners, who saves Rudo from the trash beast. And he's also the leader of Team Akuta, one of the teams that is composed of the cleaners.
Right.
And so this guy says, well, I know someone who can probably tell you how to get back up there, but in order for me to help you do that, you got to join the cleaners.
Yeah.
And then we find out he wants them to join because he has a pair of gloves. And these gloves have been imbued with care and love and attention, and they've taken on a life. And in this book series, things where people treat them with kindness and love them and care for them, they actually become alive.
Right. And that is the setup for the power system within this particular series, which something you really hadn't seen before. Usually it's always a magical weapon that's already there, but there's a pretty interesting concept of having something be so well taken care of that you could even use it like this. So they introduced something new here.
And for I understand, this is supposed to be reminiscent of the Watchmen series, the gloves that he has on.
Right. Yeah, sure it does, because Rorschach and a couple other characters have those pretty thick type gloves in there. So
we've only met a few characters besides Rudo and Engine. There's Zanka, Nijaku, Rio Reaper, and Simiu, and they're all part of the cleaners and work at the headquarters, and we'll find out more about them when we read more of the manga.
Right.
So there are lots of graffiti that appear in the manga, and that's designed by Endo Hideyoshi. So that's pretty neat that they have a graffiti artist who actually creates the graffiti that's in the
It's
manga.
not just trying to copy the style, it's someone that actually does the style.
Yes. And so I'm kind of excited about reading more of this because it's an interesting storyline. And yes, again, it's reminiscent of a couple of other things, but it seems like its own story and its own universe. And that makes it really interesting to us.
Yes.
So looks like it was well received. Back in 2022, it actually received the Next Manga Award.
Oh, wow.
And it ranked number 13 in the print manga category. And it took, look, 3 years for it to actually get its own anime.
Well, I guess it had more enough time to get enough story out, so now anime won't be caught up with the manga so quickly.
Now, you've been seeing within here clips from the anime trailer. And if you want to see it, you can go to crunchyroll.com and see it, or type it in on YouTube.
Yes.
So the series, as we mentioned, is being produced by Studio Bones, directed by Fumihiko Suganuma, coming out in July of 2025 on CBC TV, TBS and their affiliates, and Crunchyroll is going to be the exclusive streamer of the series so far as we know. And MediaLink licensed the series in Southeast Asia. The music is coming from Taku Awasaki. He's going to be the composer.
Okay.
So it looks like it's going to be really interesting. You know Bones from FMA.
Yes.
And other.
Academia.
Yes. So you know it's going to look good and it's going to be good. And I'm looking forward to actually seeing it.
Yes.
So if you have read Gachiakuta. Again, let us know if I pronounced it correctly. Let us know in the comments if you're familiar with it already, if you read the entire series up to date, or you're looking forward to the anime. Let us know. If you haven't, just based on the first volume, we're going to say go ahead and give it a try.
Yes.
Because it's really interesting. The characters are even interesting already just within the first volume. We're really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen.
Yes.
And of course, we hope there's going to be a happy ending, but since the manga hasn't ended yet,
right,
we don't know.
Time. And concerning a lot of the well-beloved anime and manga series like Demon Slayer, JJK, My Hero Academia are now ended.
Yeah.
It's now time to see a new set of mangas that are going to be going on for a while and what people will gravitate towards.
And something to look forward to for the summer. So if you've read Gachiakuta and or plan on watching the anime that comes out in July or is it June, let us know in the comments. And
if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos for anime shows, animated series, and all things animation.
Yes, and if you haven't read it, we recommend you do, especially before the anime comes out. As you know, we've gotten to 4 volumes.
Yes, going on 5.
The story's only gotten better with each volume. So we definitely recommend you read it before the anime airs.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace, and thank you for everything. We appreciate you so much. As always,
you are special.
Mwah!
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and